Holy City Center Radio is episode 280, and I am your host, Christian Sanger. Today is Friday, July 26th, 2024. Hello, everyone. Happy to be back with you for this edition of Holy City Center Radio. Hope everything is going well in your world. It is Friday, time for the weekend, and as always, you know what to do if you need plans. Go to holycitycenter.com/calendar. You can see what's happening over the next few days and well into the future as well. So if you want to say, hey, I'm busy this weekend, but I've got this day or days in mind, a month or so away, I need to know what's going on in town. You can do that on that site as well. Not too much going on here. I did have a fun evening recently on, let's see, what day was it specifically? It was Tuesday night. I went to Republic downtown. They were hosting an event with a bunch of little kittens with a rescue, hoping to get some kittens adopted. Stopped by to see some friends. Did not realize they were going to be filming for Southern Hospitality, one of the reality shows down here. So I was a little surprised to see cameras there. When I arrived, and then tried to avoid them as best as possible. When they're filming cast members, I'm trying not to walk around or be in the background or anything, just trying to mind my business and hang out with some friends. And it was a good time. So glad I was there. A lot of the cats, not all of them, but a lot were adopted, which was great to see. And hopefully the others will be at some point in time. Other than that, still hanging out with family. My folks are here and enjoying their company, and it's been great having them here. But we haven't done anything over the last few days that's super interesting, just hanging out with each other and, just spending time together, which is no complaint on my end, but not interesting for you all, I'm sure. So without any further delay, let's get into the news. There are 3 historic communities that now will have a little bit more protection from developments coming into those areas. This is thanks to a Charleston County Council vote that happened this week. There is a moratorium for these 3 neighborhoods that was approved 5-3 on Tuesday. As I said, that was done by the Charleston County Council. It adds a shield to the following neighborhoods: 10 Mile, Beesfield, and Phillips. Each of these, neighborhoods are historic in Charleston, and just like many other places in the city, there's a lot of pressure as the city continues to grow. Places are, developments come in, whether it is on, spaces that didn't previously have any buildings, or maybe there are some buildings that may be a little run down, but could easily be, built back up and have, instead of just completely tearing them down for like a business, maybe they could be, someone could come in, fix what needs to be fixed, and it could stay as whatever its current, situation is. If it's housing, it could stay that way. But it's tough to turn down businesses and money coming in. But Charleston is trying to protect these specific neighborhoods from those types of situations. And this vote will hopefully do so. Specifically, the moratorium is in place for 24 months. That's 2 years. It will temporarily protect the districts from the construction of large neighborhoods, which were described by some members of the council as cookie-cutter homes. So under this ordinance, homeowners can still control what happens to their personal property, of course, and they can sell if they wish. It's not a building moratorium. However, this also does not stop any current or ongoing projects from continuing. So those 2 things are still in place. But any new application for a major subdivision needs to be submitted to county staff for review and research. So it's just another layer of protection. Like I said, people can still do what they wish with their own property, and anything that's already in development can continue going forward. But now with this moratorium for 2 years, any kind of new application, whether it's they want to, maybe do a business in that area, or they want to create some kind of subdivision with those quote unquote cookie cutter homes, are going to have to be reviewed before getting approval, or they could end up getting denied, of course. So county staff will determine whether these new applications will have something that fits the current character of that historic district. So a good job by the county getting this in place, just making sure that these historic communities will remain, at least they'll feel familiar and similar to how they always have, at least for this 2-year period, and we'll see what happens from there. But you won't have to worry about any major developments coming in, taking away the charm of these neighborhoods. And sometimes when these new developments are come in, of course, the price tags are high because it's new houses, and that can price out some of the people who currently live in that area. So great job by them. Happy to see it, and hopefully it'll continue into the future. This is a bit of a follow up. I kind of referenced in the last podcast, or maybe it was on Monday's show, but regardless, it was this week, talking about the Robert E. Lee Memorial that was outside of a school. The school requested that it be removed. The city removed it, and then there was the Daughters of the Confederacy who were going to challenge it in court. During that story, I mentioned this group called the American Heritage Association, who had a lawsuit about that same memorial, as well as one about the John C. Calhoun statue that was in Marion Square. Now, on that podcast, I mentioned how those lawsuits were withdrawn, and it seemed that they had at least stepped back momentarily from those situations. Well, that group, after the news reports came out, they mentioned that they are actually partnering with that United Daughters of the Confederacy group, that chapter here locally, to refile a lawsuit over the removal of the Robert E. Lee Memorial. No discussion about the John C. Calhoun monument. That is still something they have their eye on, and something they are still hopeful to have some movement on as far as getting it placed somewhere. I think they've given up on thinking that they can get it back in Marion Square, but they want it out of storage, basically, where it's currently being held somewhere by the city and not on display, and they would prefer that it is on display somewhere. But specifically about this Robert E. Lee Memorial, now, that lawsuit was withdrawn in September of 2022, but then refiled in November of the same year, with the owners of Marion Square being listed as co-plaintiffs. That lawsuit is currently on appeal. So the Calhoun one was misreported as being withdrawn completely. It's actually been on appeal, and there just hasn't really been any updates on it. And now, in addition, this group has refiled their lawsuit about the Robert E. Lee Memorial with United Daughters of the Confederacy, hoping that this will give them a little bit stronger standing to move this forward. So just wanted to provide the update on that. Again, it's beyond me why anyone would care this much about statues, monuments, whatever it may be, that are dedicated to traitors to this nation, or in the case of Calhoun, just like unashamed, I should say, just an unashamed racist who spoke highly of slavery, and just by all accounts, just from that alone, is a terrible person, was a terrible person, and why would we want to celebrate them? But I've yet to hear a good reason from any of these groups. It's always about we can't erase history, which of course isn't happening. History is still very much intact and is in history books and in museums and documentaries and all that. Taking down a statue doesn't erase the history. It just erases something that was put up in celebration of these people. We have evolved and know better, and should no longer be keeping up these relics to the past that celebrate these people that don't deserve to be recognized in that manner. But hey, to each their own. That's what makes America great, right? You can have whatever opinion you want. So as abhorrent as it is, they are welcome to it. So that's the latest on that. And that'll do it for this episode. Just a quick one. I know, just two quick stories. Not a whole lot going on locally. Obviously, nationally, the presidential race and everything surrounding it is still very much a whole lot of drama, a whole lot of stories coming out and opinions, and you can go look at all that stuff if you want to, but I'll spare you from it on this podcast. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. If you enjoyed the show, please rate it, review it, like, subscribe, anything you can do on the platform you're listening on. I would greatly appreciate it. It's just any kind of interaction like that helps potentially get that podcast into someone else's ears, so I really appreciate it. If you want to go one extra step in supporting Holy City Center and this program, you can go to patreon.com/Holy City Center and sign up for one of those support tiers. You can also follow me on social media, pretty much all the bigger platforms at Holy City Center, and interact there. That also helps out. Have a great weekend. Stay cool. Have fun. Be safe. If you need plans, holycitycenter.com/calendar is the place to go. Big thank you to Lindsay Marie Collins with LMC Sound System for producing this and every episode of Holy City Center Radio. And also a huge thank you to Tyler Boone, whose music you hear in each and every show. I will talk to you all again on Monday. Looking forward to it already. Until then, good night and good luck.